Hello. Okay, guys, we are live. So, good evening. Okay, let's begin. So, hello everyone. I am Harshal Jain, and today we are going to build a very exciting application that is Global Cricket Rankings web application. So, this application is going to be a very simple MERN stack application, and if you are new to MERN stack, then it would give you a hands-on experience to MERN stack development. Okay, so but before that, let's discuss about Geek Week. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so let me just share you my screen, and from there you can check what I'm telling you right now. Okay, so I hope this page is visible. So guys, in the description you would find this link which I have shown you. So this is actually a practice page of Geeks for Geeks, and you would find this with the link practice in exclusive quizzes, win rewards, and attend more such sessions in free boundary beaker bootcamp. Okay, so you just have to visit the link and then it will take you to this page. So now what is this? Okay, so this is basically a small course. Okay, it's like a course, so you can read more about it. So introducing the boundary beacon bootcamp, your ultimate career compass. In this comprehensive course, you'll uncover the latest job market trends, boost your job hunting skills, and build a personalized career plan. Okay, so those of you who are actually looking for job and looking for career opportunities can actually look for this specific course, and this is free. Okay, you can just register for this, and this is free. Okay, so equip yourself with the expertise and resources needed to make informed choices and flourish in with your career trajectory. Okay, so you can read more about it, and you can see that we have course overview also. So here are some highlights. So we will be taking live classes on career opportunities, like depending on your current skills, we are going to take live classes according to that. Then you're going to gain insights from industrial experts. That means some industrial experts would be there, and they would be taking your live classes, so you can actually interact with them on live. Okay, then we have effective job hunting skills that will help you to get your desired job. Then we'll also take quizzes, then job market insights and personalized career roadmap. Okay, so these are all the things which you will get inside this. And after that, we have some roadmap here. Okay, so you can actually visit here, and you can see on 7th October, build a career cricket world cup scoreboard. Okay, so we're gonna build the scoreboard first on 7th October. Then global cricket rankings web application. Okay, that's what we are building. Okay, then we have cricket score analysis with DSA, then cricket and AI, then world cup fever. So you can see we have a lot more videos here, and they are specifically based for this specific series. Okay, so you can read for the schedules also. And yeah guys, yeah, you can register here. So what you have to do is right now, yeah, you can see that pricing is 0. That means that's totally free. So what you have to do is you can simply go here and simply click on register. And while you're registering, you can see that it started from 3rd October. So we had previous sessions also. You can check out the channel of Geeks for Geeks. There you would find previous sessions also. So it started from 3rd October. Okay, so if I click on register now, and here you can see all your details would be filled, and you just have to, okay, here you just have to hit this. Okay, so guys, you can see that now I am registered here. So once you register guys, you can see that we have first of all a few sessions. Okay, so these are some sessions. We can see that build a cricket world cup scoreboard. So here we have some sessions. So if I click on this, start, you can see I am actually able to see the previous YouTube video which was taken on it. Okay, so that's totally free. You don't need to pay anything for it. You just need to register, and then you will get access for it. Okay, so after this guys, one more thing, that is these are all the sessions, right? So you can explore the sessions, and some have been covered, some have not been covered. that means in a few days they would be covered according to the schedule. Then we have curiosity corner. Okay, so here guys you can see we have some articles here. Okay, so we can read about more from these articles. Then we have discovery desk. Okay, so you can add some more things, like you can see that fuel your Java knowledge. Those who want to learn more about Java, they can actually read these articles. Then we have daily challenges. These daily challenges are very important. So the benefit of this specific bootcamp is, guys, first of all, you would be given prizes, okay, cash prizes and course vouchers for Geeks for Geeks. So both of these will be given, and also some extra gifts. Okay, so you can perform the daily challenges also, they are important. And if you want to receive some good prizes, then definitely guys you can join this. Okay, you can join this. Okay, so now let's continue. And then we have the contest part. So you can see we have the contest also. So these are like whatever you are learning here, according to that we are going to take some contest. And if I go here, you can see for Java backend and cricket world cup trivia challenge, you would have some quiz. Okay, similar to this, for different days you have different kind of challenges. Okay, so according to that we have the leaderboard. So those people who are actually performing well would be listed here, and the top scorers would be actually receiving some gifts. Okay, so you can participate and you would be shown in this leaderboard, and also you would be given gifts. Then we have the notice board. So in the notice board you can see that we have some sessions. Okay, these are the sessions which we are taking at Geeks for Geeks, and the schedule is also listed here. Okay, so you can tally with yourself. Okay, so the here are all the things which I wanted to mention. And if you want to find this link, you can actually go to the description. In the description you would find the practice geeksforgeeks.org batch Geek Week 2023, and inside this it would take you to this course. Okay, so that's the course. Now let me just tell you a few more things about this. So basically the purpose of this is, I'll just give you a quick intro about this. Okay, so imagine having a front row seat to live interactions with industry experts and your favorite YouTubers. So yes, you heard it right, you get the chance to chat, ask questions, and gain insights from the best in the field. The best part, the entire Geek Week course is absolutely free. Plus we have loaded Geeks for Geeks course, Geek Week, with exciting cash rewards, exclusive course vouchers, and mind-blowing discounts. Okay, so on wide range of courses you'll also get discounts in this week. Okay, then we are going to also take a thrilling contest waiting for you on the batch page, so you can actually go to the contest, and these are all the contests which are available for you all. Okay, these contests are not just for fun, they are your ticket for amazing rewards. Participate, put your skills to the test, climb up the leaderboard, and the students getting good ranks on the leaderboard will be given a cash reward slash course voucher. Okay, so I have shared the link in the description. You can find the link, and also you can register. Once you visit this link, it would take you to the register page. Okay, and guys, one more thing, so this is the same page, right? This is the same page. Okay, so yeah, you can check out the description and you will find the link. All right, so now let's continue. So today what we are going to do is we are going to build the complete front end and back end for cricket scores. Okay, so those of you who don't have any experience, totally fine. Okay, language to be used in web project, the language which we are going to use is MERN. Okay, that is MERN stack. We are going to use the MERN stack, that is MongoDB, Express, and React.js, that means Next.js, and Node.js. Okay, so we are going to use these four, and let's do it. Okay, so even if you are new to MERN stack and you have some basic idea of MERN stack, then that's totally fine. If you have worked on some projects, then that's also great. Okay, because we are going to use Next.js today, not normal React.js, because it's not recommended now. Right, so guys, let's begin. So we're gonna start with the very basic front end back end setup. Then we are gonna jump with the authentication part, the complete authentication, that is the mandatory authentication with the tokens or token and refresh token would be taught to you in this video. And then we're gonna build a simple API which would return us the ranks of different teams. Okay, so right now we are not going to build the complete database for the whole for all the teams, but where we are going to just build some simple API for getting the ranks. Okay, so what kind of rank we are going to get? First of all, I just wanted to know that we can consider all these programs as the projects. Yes, definitely you can consider these as the projects. And one more thing, that suppose today is global cricket rankings web application. So according to that, in your same course you would find a contest. Okay, like you'll unlock a contest. So into that also you would find some similar related problems which we are talking about in this specific video. Okay, that means in this specific project. So you can take this as a project also. That means if you want to perform this, if you want to show it somewhere, or if you want to save it to your GitHub repository, then definitely you can do it, guys. Okay, so first thing is I'll just simply show you some downloading steps. Okay, so first of all, what would you need? So basic knowledge of HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and it would be really great if you have worked in MERN stack, because we are going to use it for the front end as well as the back end. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to simply first of all go to this website VS Code. Okay, so we're going to use this VS Code ID. I hope like all developers usually use this VS Code ID. So you can simply go here and you can download it for whatever OS you have. Once you download it, you would get a setup. Okay, you would get a setup. While installing the setup, just like a normal computer game, just install the setup, just press all the check boxes while you are installing the setup. Okay, that's it. So that's what we need, and you just need to install it like a normal setup. Just check all the check boxes while you are installing it. That's it. Okay, so first thing. Then second thing is Node.js must be installed. So for that you can simply visit nodejs.org. This is the official website of Node.js. You can simply go for LTS, and if I click on this, it would again download it. Okay, so what you have to do is again you just have to press next, 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 and this setup would be installed after downloading. Okay, so it's the same as like VS Code also next, next, next. Node.js also next, next, next. Okay, just remember you have to download the LTS one, that is long-term supports. Okay, so now we have installed the Node.js also. If you want to check Node.js, I'll tell you how to check is Node.js installed or not. You can check that later on. One more thing, guys, we are going to visit a website that is React Dev. Why am I telling you? Because right now React Dev website itself recommends you to use Next.js. Okay, not React.js, actually Next.js. So Next.js is again a framework of React.js. That means overall the Next.js is based on React.js with some upgrades. Like Next.js uses TypeScript, as well as we have a lot more functionalities, that is server side rendering, client side rendering. You don't need to remember that much. If you don't know Next.js, that's totally fine, because I'm going to make it as easy as possible. Okay, so let's come here and I'm going to simply type React Dev. Okay, so this is React Dev website. You can see we have the first link here. If I go here, and you would find the website. Okay, so this is the React.js official website. That means it's maintained by Facebook. So here you can simply go and learn React. And if you don't know what is React, just trust me, this website is really great and the documentation is really awesome. You can read more about this. And if you are struggling to cover some part of React.js, like in hooks, some people face issues in hooks. This is a very great website. You can actually come here and take reference from here also. Okay, so it's maintained by the official people, right? So inside this, I would simply go to installation, and in the installation, you can see that we have very brief about the installation. So I will simply go to start a new React project. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you here. Here you can see they are themselves mentioning that use Next.js. Okay, they have previously there was a command named as create React app. Okay, but right now we have to use Next app, or we have to use Remix, or Gatsby, or if you are using mobile application that is React native, so for that you have to use Expo. Okay, so I hope you know Expo and things like that. But yeah, the basic thing is you were using React.js, now you have to use Next.js. It's mandatory, it's recommended by the official website. Okay, so here we have the command to install it, but before that Node.js must be installed, because npx command only works once Node.js is installed. Okay, so these are the tools which we are gonna need. So let's start, and now let's create a fresh folder. I'm gonna tell you how to just okay, so I'll just say let's create a fresh folder, and I'm gonna name it as Cricket app. Fine. So here we are gonna add our front end as well as the backend. Okay, so guys, once you install VS Code, you have to simply go here and you would simply get open with code option. Okay, if you are not getting this, that means you haven't installed VS Code properly. So what you have to do is simply, while installing the setup, just check all the check boxes. Okay, so there, that will allow you to get this shortcut. Okay, just do this easiest way. Okay, so you can simply click here and it would open a new window in VS Code. Okay, so you can see that's how a VS Code window looks like. Now guys, one more thing, you have to first of all check the version of Node.js. So for checking the version of Node.js, we have a command I think it's Node dash V. Yes, you can see I got the version of Node.js. So you have to check for this. This version might be older version. You have to get the latest version, that is LTS version, whatever it is. It must be the latest version. Okay, so there are minor changes. If you are even if you are using the latest version, there is no such big change. But still, you have to check your version. If it's too old, just update it to the latest version by reinstalling or updating. Okay, but you can see Node.js is installed. That means it's fine. If you're not seeing this version, that means you have to install Node.js. You can search more about this on Google, how to install Node.js on Windows, Mac, or Linux. You would find tons of articles on it. Okay, so now we know that we have Node.js also. Now we have to create our front end. Okay, we have to create our front end. So let's do this. So for the front end, guys, we simply need to visit here, and again you can see this is the command for creating the front end. Right now you can see we haven't given the name to our front end. Okay, we'll give the name inside this. Okay, so you can see you just have to paste this command. Okay, so now inside this, guys, it would first of all ask you the project name. Okay, so what's your project name? So you can give any name. Okay, so I'll just name it as Cricket App Front End. Okay, Cricket App Front End. That's it. Okay, so if I hit enter, okay, I'm sorry, I have to make it small, so you can just make it small. Okay, so Cricket App Front End. Okay, uh, front end. Okay, so now you can see that it's asking that do you want to use TypeScript? Yes, TypeScript is recommended in Next.js. If you don't know TypeScript, that's totally fine because it's not a very big thing. Okay, it's just a small upgradation on JavaScript. That's it. Okay, so if you don't know TypeScript, here's a start for you using TypeScript. Okay, so if I hit this, we are using TypeScript. We don't want to use ESLint, but yeah, you can use ESLint. Is actually an additional check for like for example, have your file names been named correctly, or have your components been named correctly. For that you use ESLint. Okay, so that's important. If you want to use it, then definitely go for it. But right, I'm just making it as simple as possible. I'm just making the setup as simple as possible. Okay, so guys, here you can see it's asking that do you want to use Tailwind CSS? No, we are not going to use Tailwind CSS. Then you can see it's asking, would you like to use src directory? Yes, I would like to use the src directory because in the latest version of Next.js, it's recommended to use the src directory. And later on it might change. Okay, the things usually change in Next.js. Like right now routing is very good, but later on in future they might come with something else, so be prepared for that. So this thing might change in future. Okay, so Next.js is a kind of volatile thing. Okay, so now we have yeah, it's asking for app router. So again, if I say yes and no, so it would just create the front end. Okay, all right, guys. So guys, if you have any doubts regarding this project, you can ask me in the live chat. Feel free to ask me anything. Even if you are a beginner, you can ask your beginner level doubts also. Okay, so what we are trying to make here. Okay, so let me just show you the scoreboards of ICC. Okay, so ICC live ranking. Okay, I'll simply type this so you can see I'm getting the scoreboard. Okay, so that's what we actually want to build right now. Okay, right now ICC is going on, and I think we have a match today also. Okay, so yeah, do tell me the scores also. So here you can see we are getting the ranks and we are getting the matches, total number of matches covered till now. Okay, and then we can see we have wins and losses. Okay, then this is NRR. I'm not sure what is NRR, but yeah, I don't watch that much cricket, but yeah, then we have the points. Okay, the exact points which you get while you win or lose. Okay, so at the end these points would increase once we reach near the finals. Okay, so team which would be having maximum points obviously would be facing the finals. Okay, then that's it. So you can read more about it. Then you can go to the players. Here we are also having the total players and things like that. But yeah, right now we are only going to talk about the table. Okay, the table. So we are just going to show very basic details here, and you can add more details if you want. The main goal of this is to just connect the complete merge tag application with authentication. Then we are gonna list some rankings of the teams. Okay, and I think there are different tables available for that. You can refer different tables, but yeah, we are gonna refer this table. That means we'll send this kind of data from backend to front end. Okay, so let's do it. So right now, guys, here we have the cricket app front end. Okay, so you can see this is the front end which is available here. Similarly, we have to create the backend. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new folder here, and I'm just gonna name it as cricket app Backend. And guys, you don't need to worry about this. You would get the complete source code at the end of this video. I would provide the complete source code. So if even if you're trying to code with me, just relax. You can watch this video, and I would provide the complete source code. You can take reference from that. Okay, I'll just share my GitHub repository link. You can take reference from that. Okay, so here we have just created the front end, and this is the backend. Okay, this is the backend. Inside this, we need to first of all initialize it. So I'll just right click here, open in integrated terminal, so you can see this is the path. Okay, so inside the main folder we have the backend. Okay, inside the main folder now we have created the backend, so we are inside the backend. So our goal is to create backend in what our goal is to create backend in Node.js. So we're gonna simply type npm. Anybody facing video quality problem? Guys, if you are facing video quality problem, then please mention. Let me just check if it's proper or not. I'll try to fix it. Okay, just a minute. Okay, I hope now it's more visible. I've just zoomed it a bit more. Okay, right. So now I'm gonna simply type npm, and I'll just zoom it also. Okay, I'll just zoom this also so it's more visible. Okay, now I'm gonna simply type npm init. Okay, so it would initialize your Node.js application. Then you can see it's initialized, and then you have to just give your package name. So I would just go with the default one, create cricket app backend. Okay, so if I hit this, enter, and just hit enter. Okay, so you can see my backend has been initialized. Okay, so my backend has been initialized. Now the first thing which you need to do in your backend is, first of all, the starting folder, starting file must be index.js. Okay, so I'm just gonna simply type index.js. That's it. So index.js has been created. So right now we are going to focus on backend, then we're gonna focus on the front end part. Okay, so here itself we're going to say that we're going to use some dependencies. Okay, so if any one of you has used Node.js, they know that the dependencies are always available in package.json. So if you don't know what are the dependencies, you can search more about Node.js. You would know what are the dependencies in Node.js and different kind of stuff. Okay, I know some people are actually total beginners. That's totally fine. So in Node.js, we actually have some packages. For example, I'm going to give you one example. That is, these are some additional packages which you install in Node.js. Okay, right now you can see this is some empty folder, and we just created index.js file, and then we just created package.json file. What is this? These are just static files. So we have to install some packages to actually create a proper Node.js project. Okay, so for that we are going to add some dependencies. Okay, so the basic overview of what is a dependency. Now I'm going to say that we are going to have some basic dependencies like express.js. Okay, we actually use express.js, then we actually use bcrypt. Okay, different kind of things. Okay, so I'm just going to paste those dependencies here, and you would get the complete source code. Don't worry about this. So you just need to have this kind of, okay, what's the problem here? It's saying, okay, I'm sorry, it's having one issue, that is I have to, okay, that's it. Okay, that's it. I have to actually pass one more double inverted comma. That's it. So you can see I've just pasted my dependencies. I'll just share that in the live chat also, so that you can see it from there. If you are coding with me, then that's totally fine. Okay. Okay, I think the message is too big. Anyways, guys, you can just refer this. Just pause the video, and if you want to install, you can simply do one thing. For example, later on I'm gonna share the file first of all. But suppose if you want to install things manually, what you can do is, instead of this, suppose this was the thing initially, right? So what you can do is, you can simply go here, and you need to type the same things. Okay, what things? First of all, for example, I'm going to tell you with one example. That is, suppose we are going to use bcrypt. Okay, so I'm simply going to type npm bcrypt. Okay, bcrypt, sorry. You have to type npm install bcrypt. So I is the shortcut, and you can see npm I bcrypt. Once I hit this, you can see that in the dependencies you would see bcrypt. So it would take a while, then it would install it. Okay, let's wait for a few more seconds, then it would be installed here. Okay guys, so you can see as soon as bcrypt is installed, you can see this is the version which is available for bcrypt, and you can see there's the node modules. Inside the node modules, actual package would be installed and the reference would be mentioned in the dependencies. Okay, so similarly guys, I'm going to mention all the packages directly, and since I haven't installed these packages, that means I've just named in here, I have to install them also. So for installing all of them, that means all the missing packages, you know that bcrypt, we have installed bcrypt, but we haven't installed these, right? So for example, if you have some this kind of situation, or if you haven't installed any package but you have named them here, that means for example you don't have the node modules folder. So this is a very common issue when beginners face. So right now you can see that we don't have a node module folder, we just have the package JSON, and we also don't need the package log JSON. So whenever you are sharing, you don't need to share node modules or package log JSON folder to anyone, okay, file to anyone. So here you can see we have these. Okay, so I'm going to simply type npmi, so it would install all of them, whatever is mentioned in the dependencies, everything would be installed. Okay, so this is the common shortcut, you would be using it a lot in one stack. Okay guys, so you can see that the package.json has installed everything, and now you would see a node modules folder. Our node modules folder has everything, that means all the packages which are available here. So these are some set of packages which I usually use in my backend. That is, not all of them we're going to use today, but I've just mentioned all of them which are actually great, and I usually use these packages for different stuff. So you can see the important one is bcrypt, that is, we are going to hash the password before saving the user password. Then we have body parser, which would allow us to just check the JSON format data and send the JSON format data. Then we have cookie parser, which would allow us to check cookies. Okay, so we're gonna save the authentication tokens into our cookies. So for that, we have cookie parser. Then guys, we have course. So course is something very important. We're gonna discuss that. Then we have .env. So .env actually carries our environment variables. So we're gonna save some environment variables. For example, you are using a payment gateway. Okay, so for payment gateway, you get your API keys. So this is a very sensitive thing. Okay, that means you don't share it to anyone. Okay, you don't share it to anyone usually. Okay, API keys, you never share your API keys. Okay, they are very sensitive. That means suppose if you have purchased something, that means you must be the owner. Okay, you won't be sharing it to everyone. Okay, so those kind of things, those are those kind of important keys which you use in your application, but you don't want to share it to anyone. You are going to save it inside the .env file, and for understanding the .env file, you actually use the .env package. Okay, so we are going to create the .env file later on. Then we have express, that means inside node.js we can use directly node.js, but express.js is the better tool which we use inside node.js. Okay, that means it's just an upgradation with some basic functionalities. That means you're still writing code in node.js. Some people get confused, we have to learn express.js separately, node.js separately. No, it's not. It's just that whatever code you write in node.js, it's now into some smaller format. Okay, that means it's easier to read and write. Okay, that's it. So that's what we do in express.js, and rest everything is same as normal node.js. Okay, so we're going to use express.js in our node.js application. Then we have JSON web token. This would allow us to create tokens, that means generate tokens according to some passwords. Then we have mongoose for using mongodb. Then we have multer is for storing some kind of files. Suppose if you are storing some kind of images in your backend, then for that you're going to use multer. Then we have node mailer. Node mailer is for simply sharing your, for example, I am the owner. Okay, I'm the owner, geeks4geeks.org, some email. I'm the owner and I want to share you some email from my application. Okay, that means automatic emails must be sent. How can I do that? So in node.js you actually use node mailer for sharing, for sending emails from one id to infinite ids. You can actually do this with node mailer. Okay, so it's totally free, we are going to use that later on. Then we have nodemon. Nodemon is actually used for starting the node.js application and for automatic restart. Then we have sharp. So sharp would be used for those cases where you have to compress the image file. That means suppose someone has uploaded the 4K profile picture, and you know, for example, if you have used Instagram, you know that the profile pictures don't need that much of quality. Okay, a normal 720p or 360p quality would work for a profile picture. So that's what sharp does. Suppose someone has uploaded a very big image, suppose 30 MB of image. Okay, the size of image is 30 MB. Sharp would actually decrease the size to half or whatever you mention it there. Okay, so it's used for decreasing the size, that means decrease the quality of the image. Okay, so these are all the packages we always use, and I personally use them a lot, so I've told you, and we're not going to use all of them today, but yeah, I have always mentioned all of these in any of my projects. Okay, and guys, one more thing, you can actually go to Geeks for Geeks development channel. Let me just take you to that page. Let me just take you to that YouTube channel actually. So Geeks for Geeks Dev. Okay, so on YouTube you can simply search for this channel, and here also we usually post development based videos, so you can simply go down and you can see that previous we had some sessions. So if you want to learn one stack, you can simply go to playlist, and you can first of all look for our previous playlist. For example, you can start with um, yes, week 2 React. Okay, so this is a great start for React.js. You can go with this, or you can go with thinking in React. So these are two React.js playlists. Then you can start with Node.js. So what you're going to do is you can simply start with 15 days of backend development. So here I have taught the complete backend development. If you're new to backend in Node.js, you can start with this. Okay, so complete Node.js, Express, and MongoDB is taught here. You can follow this playlist. After this, guys, if you have learned enough, you can check out this project, that is React.js projects. This is for front end. Then we have some JavaScript based projects also, some other projects also, and you can check out these. Okay, so recently we have covered 3 projects on Merge Stack. So if any one of you doesn't have any much idea of Merge Stack projects, can actually start with this playlist. Okay, so after learning the theory part, the basics, then you can start with the projects. Okay, so do check out this channel and subscribe. Okay, now let's continue. And here, guys, we have created index.js. Okay, so we are gonna need one more file, that is db. Okay, so db is going to initialize our database from MongoDB. Then we are gonna have one more folder, that is models. So here we're gonna save our models. Actually, it's a folder. I'm sorry. So we're gonna create one folder named as models. Okay, then guys, we are gonna have one more folder, that is gonna have our routes. Okay, then one more folder for our middleware. So, okay, so what is the middleware? Middleware is something like, for example, I want to get my user profile data and I want to change the password. Okay, so in Instagram, what actually happens is I can see my profile. Okay, you can see my profile, but I can change my password. You can't change my password. How does that happen? So when you are trying to change my password, it would call a middleware, any middleware. Okay, so for example, we're going to create a middleware which would check users authentication. So that's what we usually do. We check users authentication. If it's valid, then middleware will call something else middleware would throw an error. Okay, so middleware is something you don't need to change your whole code base. You're just putting a middleware in between, so that's really helpful. And you're just checking through the middleware, you are checking different things. But for example, you are checking, is the user logged in or not, or is the auth token of user valid or not. So for those kind of cases, we actually use middlewares. Okay, so we're going to create a middleware of our own. We're going to use it for authentication. Okay, so guys, here I'm going to mention middlewares. Okay, so middleware. Okay, so we're gonna add our middleware here. So these are all the files and folders which we're gonna use. So I'm just gonna now write a few things. So first of all, we're gonna have one more thing, that is the .env. Okay, so .env. So inside this, guys, you have to mention your env config. So I'm just gonna say that suppose we have some Mongo URL. So we're gonna have some MongoDB URL. Then we are gonna have some secret keys. So I've just added some sample secret keys. You can add your own keys into env. Then what do we have is I'm gonna name my database something like, for example, I'm gonna name it as what, uh, crick cricket db. Okay, so these are all the things. Now we're gonna set up our MongoDB. Okay, so for that, guys, you simply need to visit MongoDB Atlas. We search for it, then it would take you to a page. Just a minute. Too much tabs here. Let me just close them. Then I would continue. Okay. Does this course have a certificate? Yes. After this, okay, no, no, no. Actually, no, you don't have a certificate here. We haven't mentioned about the certificate, but yeah, still you can perform it and you would get a good amount of you can see that if you're following this course, you will get a lot things here. Okay, I think, yeah, certificate is not here. You won't get a certificate, most probably they haven't mentioned here, but yeah, you would get some rankings and you can get some goodies and rewards and gift vouchers and discounts on our courses, and it's always great to be mentioned on the leaderboard, right? So do check out these, right? So now let's come back, and now we are inside MongoDB Atlas. Okay, so I'm simply going to go to sign in. Okay, just go to sign in, and that's totally free. Just go to Google, and here you have to select your any of your Google account. So I'm going to select this. So guys, here you can see that this is here. Okay, so I'm going to simply create a fresh project, so new project, and let's name it as something like, for example, I'm going to name it as cricket. Okay, so CRICKET app. Okay, cricket app. So next, and you can see, yes, I only want to add this user as the owner. That means me, myself. So create project. Then you can see that it's created. Okay, so after this guide, guys, what you have to do is you can simply click on database, and I'm showing you the proper method how to use MongoDB. Okay, you don't need to install anything for MongoDB. You can always do it in cloud directly. So you can see this is our database. That means whatever values you're going to create are going to be stored into your database. Okay, so just go here, then you can click on build a database, and you can click on M0, and then that's fine. So I'm just going to create and choose that nearest location if you can. So right now I'm just going to add some username. So I'll just type, suppose this is the username, and similar to this we have the password. So create user. Okay, we created the user, and you can see the user has been created. Then you can see it's asking for my local cloud environment, so I'm just gonna go with this, and then you can see automatically my computer's IP address has been added. So finish and close. Okay, so this is just a basic overview how to set up MongoDB. Later on, if you are learning MongoDB, then you would learn more about this. Okay, so now guys, you can see that we have initialized it, and just go to database, and now you would see we have an option of connect here. Okay, just wait for this, it would show you the connect button. Okay, so right now it's being created, it would take a while, then I would continue. Okay, let's reload. I think it's taking too much time. Okay, so now you can see it's been created. So if I simply click on connect and just go to compass, and here guys, you would get a link. Okay, just copy this link, and that's the link which we're gonna use. Okay, so I'm simply going to say just add it here. Okay, just add it here. Now instead of password, you have to add your actual password which you have given there. So I've given the same ID and password. So you can see that this is my link. Okay, similar to this, you would create your own database, and that would have your link. Okay, that means this would be your separate link for you. Okay, so you can see these are the variables which we are gonna need, we're gonna use today. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to index.js, and index.js, I'm simply going to use some things like, for example, body parser. Okay, we're going to use body parser, we're going to use codes, we're going to use auth routes from routes file. So I'm simply going to add my auth file, so auth.js. Inside this, we're going to mention our login, sign up, different kind of APIs which we are going to need. Then we have also express, and we have to initialize app from express instance. That's all the about the imports. Then we're going to say that we have to use the env config, as well as we have to initialize the database whenever the application starts. That means we want to use the database also, connect to the database using typing this, and this simply means we are using the .env config. This simply means that now I am able to understand this file. Okay, that's it. Okay, so we have already installed it in package.json. You can see that. Now after this guys, we are using cookie parser. Why we are using cookie parser? Because whenever we are logging in, we are going to generate an auth token and refresh token, we're going to save it here. Okay, so for that, cookie parser is here. Then we have body parser JSON. That means whatever data comes, I'm gonna convert it into JSON format. Okay, now from normal string format, I'm gonna convert the data into JSON format because JavaScript understands JSON format. Okay, that means Node.js understands JSON format. React.js understands JSON format. Okay, so any kind of JavaScript framework would understand JSON format. Okay, so one more thing is you're gonna use course. Okay, so I'm simply gonna say, for example, my front end is hosted on this URL. My front end is hosted on this URL. So I'm going to say that my front end, I'm allowing this front end URL to access my backend. Okay, so for that, you're going to simply say app use course and you're going to apply the course policy here. Okay, so here I'm simply saying just check for the origin. Okay, if the origin doesn't match, that means if you don't find the origin here, just return this error to the front end. That means if suppose the front end is google.com, google.com is not mentioned here, that means google.com is not allowed to access my backend. That's it. So google.com would face this issue when they are trying to access my backend. They would face this issue. But if someone who is which is available here, for example, localhost 3000, from this URL, someone is trying to access my backend, then they can easily use it because it's mentioned here. Okay, that's it. That's what I have said here. So this is very important and a very great security tool which you're gonna use every time. Okay, then we're gonna use cookie parser. So we have initialized cookie parser, we have to use cookie parser. Okay, that means we have to just keep an alert on cookies every time. So that's why we use app.use. Okay, app.use is for what? When you want to use things forever, that means keep an alert on these things. Okay, whenever you receive these kind of files, just keep an alert. Okay, that's it. Now we're gonna say that we have a very basic API. So I'm just simply gonna say app.get. If you call this API would be working, you would receive this message. And then I'm simply gonna say that server running on this port. Okay, then after that, let's go to db.js and we're gonna initialize our database. Okay, so we'll simply say from MongoDB, just connect the MongoDB URL, whatever URL you have mentioned, and along with the DB name. And then if the response is true, then you're simply going to show this in console, else you would receive this error. Okay, so now let's try to run this, guys. So for that, what we can do is we can simply type npm. Okay, I'm sorry, we can simply type nodemon. Okay, so node DEMON. Okay, so nodemon. So if you hit this, it would start. So you can see we are facing some issues. Why we are facing some issues? Because someone is already running in 8000. Let me just close it from everywhere. Actually, I was previously running this project somewhere. So just a minute. Okay, so yeah, now if I just save this, control S, and now you can see, first of all, I received the message server running on port 8000. That means my index.js is running properly. You can see at the end, I'm simply saying if everything is fine, just show the port. And my port is what? My port is 8000, right? So I simply said server running on port 8000, and also we are receiving the message connected to database. That means this is also working properly. We are properly connected to the database. Okay, that's what we needed to connect here. Now after this, let's talk about auth routes. Okay, so let's go to auth routes. But for using auth routes, we have to call it in index.js. Okay, right now you can see we haven't used it here. Okay, so we have to simply say if someone calls /auth, then we are simply going to send that user to auth routes page. Okay, so this is simply going to like simplify things. Okay, so now I'm going to go inside the auth route page, and auth route page is actually this page. Okay, so this is right now empty, so we have to add a few details here. That means login, sign up, these kind of details would be added here. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm simply going to say, first of all, we are going to have the user schema also. So inside the models, we are going to add the user schema. Okay, so we'll simply say we have the user schema. Okay, so user schema.js, I'm simply going to mention it like this. So inside models, user schema.js, and here we are going to simply define the schema, that is type of data which user is going to have. So first of all, we are going to import mongoose and bcrypt. Then we are going to say that our user would be having what? Name, email, password. Okay, so we are simply saying that we are going to have name, password, and email. Okay, so you can see name is also required, password is also required, and email is also required, and email must be unique. Okay, and we don't need this. Okay, so you can see this is the user schema which I have created, and I've also added timestamps as true. That means whenever there is a modification into your profile, for example, you change the password, the current time and updated time would be added here. Okay, so these are the details. Now I'm gonna say that whenever you are saving the password, suppose from the front end, someone tried to save the password hj123 in the backend. For example, I'm simply going to say, for example, the password was hj123. So we would hash this password to some format so that any hacker can't understand this. Okay, so this is known as hashing. Okay, so we're gonna say just before saving, hash the password. Okay, so I'm just saying that just hash the password. So I'm simply hashing the password, and I'm just saying that just pass 8 here. So I'm just simply going to say whatever value, maximum value I would say that you can pass here is 10, but I can say that you can pass 8 here. So that means it's a little bit less complex, but it's fine, it's still secure. So you can go for 8, 9, 10, whatever you want, but 8 is fine. Okay, so higher value, more secure, more complex password. Okay, so you can see I've simply converted the password into hash format like this, and again saved it. Okay, first of all, I got the user which I want to save. From that I extracted the password. You can see I extracted the password, then I hashed the password, then I saved the password. Okay, that means converted this into this. Okay, like this. Okay, so then we have just hashed the password. Now after this, guys, what you have to do is you simply need to export this schema. Okay, so just need to export the schema to use the schema. Okay, so we have simply exported it. Now we'll come back to auth. Okay, now I'll come back to auth. So inside the auth, guys, we have mentioned the three things. We needed the three things. Then we also need some middlewares. Okay, so I'm simply going to create a middleware named as error middleware dot JS. Okay, so here, guys, you can actually mention your middlewares. Okay, so I'm just going to say that error middleware.js. Okay, so here we can actually say whatever error actually occurs, I'm simply gonna send that as a response. That means whenever I call this middleware, it would get the status code of the error. Okay, in Node.js you actually have errors, right? So you have the status code of the error and what's the error and what to do next. Okay, so I'm simply saying that if the header is there, just send this as a response. Do nothing, just send this as a response. That's what we are doing here. Okay, so now let's come back to author.js. Now inside this, guys, we are using the error handler middleware. Okay, we are using this middleware. So error middleware. Okay, I think the problem is already included in the file name. So if I say middlewares, okay, so middlewares, I think there is some problem here. So if I type the dot slash middlewares slash error middleware. Okay, so you can see I'm still facing this issue. Anyways, the problem here is okay. Anyways, so this is just a warning. Just ignore this. So now I'm simply saying that we have the error handler middleware. We're also going to use JSON web token. Then we are also going to use bcrypt. Okay, we are also going to use bcrypt. Okay, so after this, guys, now let's complete the login sign up APIs which we would need. So let's first of all say that we have a temporary function which I would call to create a format for response. Okay, so my response would be having three things. Okay, that is some boolean thing, that is true or false. Then we have the message, then we have the exact data which we are going to send as a response. Okay, this is the function which I have created. Now I'm simply going to say that we have the register API. Okay, so first of all we have the register API. Okay, similarly we are going to have the login API. Okay, similarly we are going to have one more API, that is check login API. Okay, check login API. Then we are also going to have one more API, that is the logout API. So these are the four APIs which we're going to have inside this. At the end, you're just going to export it. Okay, just export it. That's it. So you can see now everything would be fine. The problem is auth token handler is not defined. Okay, so we have to define one more middleware, that is auth token handler. Okay, so I'm simply going to say that we are also going to have one more middleware, that is check auth token dot chase. Okay, so we're gonna create a middleware which would check our auth tokens. So just wait for a while. Right now we don't need to work on this, so I'm just gonna comment this out. So control and slash. So right now let's talk about the register. Okay, let's talk about the register. So guys, right now you can see that it's running properly. You can see it's running properly. Now let's talk about the register. So in the register, first of all, from the user, what we are gonna take. So first of all, I'm gonna say that this is going to be in try catch. Okay, and I'm simply going to mention call my error handler middleware here. So I'm simply going to say that when the error occurs, just call this middleware. Okay, so automatically when you say that, for example, when there is some error in the try, this next is called, next is what, next is again the middleware. So this middleware would be called along with the details. Okay, that's what I have said. Okay, so now inside the try, I'm simply going to say that we are going to take the name, email and password from the user, right? Name, email and password from the user. Now after this, I'm going to check that if that email exists or not. If that email already exists, that means you can't register with the same email again. So that's what I'm asking from MongoDB. Okay, that means check for the email. If it already exists, then don't allow the user to register. So if the email already exists, and I'm simply saying email already exists, this is the error which I'm sending to the front end along with the source code, okay, along with the status code. Okay, after this, if the email doesn't exist, then I'm simply going to create a user, okay, then simply going to save this user to my database. Then I'm simply going to say that user registered successfully. That's it. Okay, that's what we wanted to do in the register. Similarly guys, we have the login. Okay, so in the login also, we are simply going to say that we are going to take the email and password. Okay, so actually again, you're going to make the try catch. Now inside the try catch, again I'm going to ask for email as well as the password. Okay, so inside the try, again I'm going to ask for the email and password. That means whenever you're logging in, you are asking for the email and password. Then you're going to say that find that user with that email. If that user doesn't exist, then you're simply going to say invalid credentials. Okay, but if that user exists, that means you have to check for the password. Okay, so now you're simply saying here is a variable which would check your password from the front end what you have provided. So from front end you have provided hj123, and remember in the database we have saved password in the format of hashed, okay, hash format. So this is hj123 and this is some hash format. Okay, and I am allowing bcrypt to compare them. Okay, only bcrypt understands the logic. I don't know the logic for comparison. Okay, so I'm simply saying compare hj123 with the hash format whatever you have saved. If both of them match, yes they match. hj123 is from front end which I have sent, and this is the previous saved password. So if both of them match, that means the user has provided correct details. Okay, so if both of them match, I'm simply going to say that, just say if none of them match, okay, that means if password don't match, simply going to say invalid credential. But if both of them match, then I'm simply going to generate an auth token. Okay, so auth token is very easy to create. So you can see I'm simply using JSON web token. Inside this, I have just provided the user ID. Just provide the user ID because that's how you're going to identify whose token it is. Okay, user ID. Then I'm simply going to provide my secret key. Any secret key would work. I have just provided hj123 in the secret key of env. Then after this, you can see I have just added an expiry. Okay, so you can just increase the expiry to 50 minutes so that you don't need to log in again and again, because once this token expires, you have to log in again and again. Okay, that's why it's important. Okay, similarly guys, we are going to generate a refresh token also. So these two are very important. What actually happens is, so I'm simply going to say suppose 120 minute. Okay, so I'm simply going to say that the logic for these is actually going to be applied in the check or token middleware. I'll explain that, but right now we have just generated two tokens. Okay, just generated two tokens, or token and refresh token. Okay, once you generate this, you have to set these tokens into your cookies. Just set this token in your cookies. After setting this token into your cookies, you're just sending the response. Okay, just sending the response. Okay, that's the response, or token and refresh token. You're just sending the response, right? So these are the responses for register and login. Similarly guys, we have the logout. Okay, similarly we have the logout. So we are simply going to say that once you want to log out, you're just clearing the cookies. Okay, so whatever cookies you have set, you are just going to clear the cookies. Okay, so our token would be removed, refresh token would be removed, and this would be sent as a response. Okay, now comes the important thing, that is check auth token. Okay, check auth token. So we are simply going to say that check auth token would simply work in the similar way, but we are just going to say that first of all we have to decode the user ID from the token if the token is not expired. So how this actually works? Okay, so first of all, this would actually look for the expiry of auth token and refresh token. You know the expiry of this token is how many minutes? It's actually around 50 minutes. Okay, right? Similarly, the expiry of this is how minutes? 120 minutes. Okay, so what actually happens is, when I try to check this auth tokens, first of all, I would check for auth token. Okay, if auth token is expired, that means 50 minutes have gone. I would look for refresh token. So if auth token is expired, so I'm simply going to say that if auth token is expired, check refresh token. Okay, so first of all I'm checking this, but if auth token is not expired, then just continue. That means you're authenticated. Okay, so I'm simply going to say if auth token not expired, just continue. Okay, that means first of all we are just checking for auth token. Okay, we are not checking for refresh token. If auth token is expired, that means 15 minutes have been gone, and if auth token is expired, then you are checking for refresh token. Okay, so now we're going to check for refresh token. Okay, so if refresh token is valid, generate new auth token and refresh token. Okay, but if refresh token is invalid, redirect the user to the login page. That means user is not logged in. Okay, that's what the logic says for refresh and auth token. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We are going to first of all check for the both of these tokens must be available. Okay, that means you can't continue without both of these tokens, either expired but still you must have these tokens. Okay, so now I'm simply going to say that if you have both of these tokens, we are going to first of all verify the auth token. If auth token is expired, okay, if auth token is expired, then we would receive an error. So I'm simply going to say that if auth token is expired, then we have to check for refresh token. Else you are simply saying just decode the user ID from the token. Okay, just decode the user ID from the token and just go to next API, whatever API you are calling. Okay, then here guys you can see that I'm simply saying that if error, that means auth token has been expired. Okay, if auth token has been expired, then I'm going to check for refresh token. Okay, I'm going to check for refresh token. Now guys, here one more thing, if refresh token is also expired, then you are simply going to say both tokens are invalid. That means I want the user to log in again. But if the refresh token is not expired, that means I can regenerate the auth token and refresh token. Okay, I can regenerate the auth token as the refresh token, and let's say it's again 50 minutes and 120 minutes. I've regenerated the auth token and refresh token, right? Now we are going to simply check. We are going to simply set it into our cookies. Okay, that means the front end would receive these cookies. Okay, from the backend, I'm setting the cookies for front end. I'm setting these cookies. Then I'm simply calling the whatever next API you have. That means everything is fine. I'm not logging again. I've just regenerated the token. Okay, here you can see everything is not fine. I'm simply asking the user to log in again. Here you can see everything is fine. I'm just going to next thing. Okay, so now whenever you're calling the check login API, I'm just simply saying that just check the tokens. Okay, so inside the check login API, I'm calling this middleware. Okay, I'm calling this middleware. So I'm just gonna say const equals auth token handler. Okay, I think yes, check auth token. It's actually check auth token, and I have to use this name. Okay, check auth token. Okay, check auth token. Okay, this is the name. I have provided the wrong name. It's actually check auth token. Okay, so this is the file. So you can see this is the file which we are talking about. This is checking the auth token. Okay, so what we are saying is whenever someone checks login, it would check for our auth token, refresh token. Okay, so once auth token is valid, then this would come here. That means this is the next part of the middleware. Okay, this is the next part of middleware. That means I've simply said that if auth token is valid, you can see here we have checked if auth token is valid, just call the next part. That means now I have the user ID extracted from the token, and I am inside this API now. Okay, so first of all this API is called, but first of all I'm checking the token using this middleware. Now I'm inside this API. If I'm inside this API, that means everything is fine. That means I can simply send the response that user authenticated successfully. Okay, that means user is logged in, or any message you can say. Okay, so I'm simply going to say that user authenticated successfully. You can also send the user ID, so you can actually extract the user ID from here. So I can simply say that as a response, you can add one more thing, that is user ID. So you can actually send the user ID also as a response. Okay, or what else you can do is inside data, it's preferred to send inside the data. Okay, I'm just sending the user ID extracted from the middleware. This came from the middleware, right? So we have all the details here. You can see everything is fine. So all the APIs have been created. Now we need one more API, that is the rankings API. Okay, so for the rankings API, I'm going to create a very simplest thing here. So I'm simply going to say that router dot. Okay, so I didn't find any free API which is giving me a good amount of rankings of cricket. So that's why I'm creating my own API, very basic API. So I'm just simply going to say router dot get, and here guys, I'm just simply going to say slash get cricket rank. Okay, ranking. Okay, so here guys, I'm just going to create a temporary array. You can build your own logic here. Right now I'm just going to create a temporary array. Okay, so I'm just going to say const and later on you can bring this data from backend also, sorry, from database also. Right now I'm just creating a temporary array, which I'm assuming that this is the data I'm calling from some random API, which is giving me cricket rankings. Okay, so here I can actually say const data equals, and let's define an array here. Okay, first of all I'm just gonna say that tournament. Okay, so what's the tournament? So tournament, and this tournament is actually suppose ICC Championship 2023. For example, I've just given the name. Okay, similarly, I did one mistake. It's not actually an array; it's an object. It's an object. Okay, right. So I've simply said that we have the tournament name. Similarly, I can say that started from, or anything you can add here, but let's go with the teams. Okay, so I'll just say that ranks. So here itself, I'm just gonna create an array, and according to that, I'll just say country India, and let's say it's having these amount of points, and let's say you have one more thing, that is wins and losses. Okay, so we are gonna add this kind of data. So I'll just say that we have wins. Wins are suppose 4. Okay, and for example, losses are suppose 1, and total matches are obviously 5. Okay, so similar to this, we are gonna send the data, and we are gonna send one more thing, that is image. Okay, so you can pass any image or flag. So you can say that what's the flag. Okay, so you're gonna send some flag. So I'm just going to visit like any URL. You can simply go to Wikipedia. Okay, so you can simply go to Wikipedia or anywhere. You can search for the flags, and then you can get those flags and return those flags. Right now I'm just going to just send geeks for geeks .org. I'm just gonna copy this image address. Okay, right now I'm just going to send this image as a response. Okay, so that we have some kind of image here, because we haven't saved the flag, right? So we can't use any random logo here, or else let's do it. Okay, we won't receive any copyright anyways, so let's do it. Okay, so here I can simply type for India. Okay, so here you can see we have India here. So I'm just simply going to right click here, and I would simply click on copy image address, and then guys you can simply go to your backend, and then you can paste the flag here. Okay, so you can assume that this data is coming from your backend, from your database. Okay, so this is the flag which we have saved. Okay, so similar to this, we're gonna add a few more flags. So for example, we have one more country like Australia, and these are the points, and these are the wins, and these are the losses. Okay, let's say that we have this. Okay, then you can say that total is again 5, and you can say whatever is the flag, you can mention the flag here. So I'll just say Australia. Okay, so you can just again right click here, copy image address, and you can paste the link here. That's it. Okay, so we have added some URLs here, and these are some very basic URLs and very basic data here. So you can assume that similar to this, you will get the all the data here. Okay, so I'll just say that suppose these are the points for this, and I've just added some random data. Now I'm going to simply send this data as a response. Okay, so I'll simply say that res .json, and then you're simply going to send the data as a response. That's it. So now guys, we have created those APIs. Now we're going to use those APIs. So first of all, let's test the API. So we can simply go to Postman. So what you have to do is you can simply type Postman here, and you are going to test the APIs. Okay, okay, so let's go to Postman, and here we are going to test the API. So here guys itself, I am going to close everything first of all. So you just need to download Postman from Google. You can download it from there. It's a software which allows us to test the APIs. Even if you don't use it, that's totally fine. I use it for testing the APIs. Okay, so here you just need to mention first of all, we are inside localhost 8000, that is our backend is running here. So if I click on send and see the API is working, that means backend is running properly. Now we're going to say that we are using the register. Okay, so slash auth slash register. I hope this is register. Okay, and I can simply go to headers, and it's actually content type, and it's actually application JSON. Then I can go to body raw. Here you just have to add your details. Okay, so for example, my first detail is what name. Okay, inside the name I'm just going to say at j1 at the rate gmail.com. Okay, so this is my name. Similarly, I'm going to add my email. So let's say this is my email. So my email is again, okay, I'm sorry, I've added this here. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. Okay, then the name is suppose JRSHAL. Okay, then you have to, okay, it's actually inside the single inverted comma, so you have to pass it inside the single inverted commas. Okay, I hope now it's visible. So you have to pass it in single inverted commas, and here you can see I've added the email also. Now let's one more thing, that is the password. Okay, so I'll just say that the password is HA123. Okay, so you can see if I click on send, you can see user registered successfully. That means my register API is working properly. Now if I try to log in, as a login I would receive response. Okay, so if I try to log in, now it would take for email and password, name would be ignored. Okay, so you can actually remove this name. But one more thing, just keep headers as application JSON. Okay, so now I'm trying to log in. Okay, so now if I click on send, you can see login successful. I received 2 tokens, that is auth and refresh. Once you receive tokens, you can actually go to the cookies of front end, and you would receive auth token and refresh token here. Okay, so you can go here and you can see that these are the same cookies. Okay, these are the same cookies. Okay, so we received the cookies, that means everything is fine. Okay, so now one more thing, we have to hit the check login API. Okay, so I'm again going to call this, just copy this, and now I'm going to say that we are going to check login. Okay, so check login. Okay, I'm going to call this API, and if I click on this, you can see user authenticated successfully. Okay, so these are the things. Suppose if I remove the cookies, after this you would receive the error, that is user not logged in. Okay, so for that you would receive that error. That means my check login is also working. Now at the end, guys, we have one more API, that is get rankings. Okay, so I'll just get that API. So get cricket ranking. Okay, so get cricket ranking, if I click on this, you can see I'm getting the response. Okay, that means I'm getting the total response, and you can see these are some responses which I have shown here. Now guys, I have to use these same APIs into the front end. The integration is very easy. Now let's use that. Okay, so I would simply say that my backend is running here. So I would simply go to the front end. First of all, we have to set up a few things. So we are going to say that inside the src, we have first of all one folder named as components. Okay, we have a folder named as components. So it is going to have nav bar, and inside the nav bar we're going to have one file named as navbar dot psx. Okay, I'll just type RAFCE. So this is a shortcut which I get from an extension. You can simply go here, you can simply go here and you can simply type ES7 plus. Okay, so ES7, you can simply type this and you would get this extension. Once you install this extension, you would get the shortcut RAFCE. Okay, so it would work properly. Now you can see that we have the navbar component. Okay, so we are simply going to say that inside the layout, here we by default have an HTML page, right? So here we can say that inside the children, instead of the children, we are going to show first of all the navbar. Navbar, then we are going to show the children. That's it. Okay, so now let's try to test this. So right now I'm just going to remove all the CSS available here and page module CSS. We don't need any CSS. We are just going to receive this plain page along with the navbar. Okay, so I'll simply right click here, open an integrated terminal, and this is the front end. So we are simply saying npm run dev. Okay, so npm run dev is used to start the next.js application. Okay, next.js application can be started by using command npm run dev. Okay, so it would automatically start in localhost. I think 3000 is already running. Okay, let me just remove it from other page. Okay, I was already running it somewhere. So guys, now you can see that it is going to start, and now I have to simply go to this URL localhost 3000. Okay, So I would simply go here and I would simply type for localhost 3000. So you can see I'm getting the navbar at the top. Okay, I'm getting the navbar at the top. So now, first of all, design the navbar. Okay, let's design the navbar. So before that, in the front end, I have to first of all use my backend URL. Okay, I want to get my backend URL. So inside this, I would simply create dot env dot local. Okay, so dot env dot local. Okay, this is the kind of file from which we get the envs in the front end, that is in Next.js. So I'm simply going to say that inside the env local, I'm just going to pass my backend URL. That's it. Okay, so my backend URL is actually localhost 8000, right? This is my backend URL. Now I'm simply going to use it everywhere. Okay, so automatically you don't need to install anything, you can use it directly now. So just go to navbar.tsx. Here we have to say that when you are inside the navbar, first of all, I would check for logged in or not. If the user is logged in, then I would show him the logout button. If the user is not logged in, then I would show the user login button. Okay, so for that, I would simply say that we have a function named as check login. Okay, we have a function named as check login. Okay, so this is the function. Inside this, I'm going to fetch my API. So I'm just going to again fetch that same API check login. Okay, I'm just going to fetch the same API check login and just have to add credentials include, because that's how you're gonna add your cookies. Okay, just don't forget to pass credentials include here. Okay, so now we are saying that if everything is fine, if everything is fine, that means user is logged in. So I would simply set the logged in hook as true. If response is okay, that means user is logged in. First of all, convert the response in JSON format, then check the response. If the response okay is true, that means user is logged in, check login response is true, else simply return with false. Okay, similarly, you are just saying that if there is an error, just set login as false. Okay, why we are creating this hook? That means if logged in value is true, that means we are going to show the user logged out value. Okay, that logged out button. If the user is not logged in, that means this is false. We are going to show the user login button. That's it. Okay, so we are simply going to say that whenever this page loads, whenever this component loads, just call just call this hook. That's it. So whenever this page loads, just call this hook. So first of all, this hook would be called, use effect would be called, it would be calling check login function. That's it. Okay, so suppose if the user is logged in, so you're simply going to say that if user is logged in, you are just going to say that whatever is the state, I want to receive the state. Okay, that's it. So initially you would receive it as false. Okay, so guys, now if I take you to this page, and the problem here is only works on, okay, I think I have to add use client inside which page? Inside my main page. Okay, that is page.tsx. Okay, so you have to go here and you have to use client here. Okay, at the top just add use client here. Okay, so now I'll come back. So if I refresh, can see one more problem. Okay, I have to add it into my component also, I guess. So let's go here, and at the top of my component navbar.tsx, I want to add this also. Okay, so now let's come back. So you can see that right now, guys, I don't have anything. Okay, I don't have anything. That means it is not having anything. Okay, anyway, so you can see I am having value as false. That means it's false, so false won't be showing anything, obviously. So right now, don't worry about this. First of all, we have to say it, we have to build the navbar. Okay, so we are going to say that inside this we are having the nav tag. First of all, so we are going to have a nav tag. Okay, nav tag, and I would just say that here itself we have the left side. Okay, so left side would be having some kind of heading. So I'll just say that this heading is what? Heading is what? Cricket ranks. Okay, cricket rank or anything, cricket rank. Okay, so I've just given it a heading, cricket rank, in the left side, and similarly we're going to have the right side. So in the right side, I would just say that just create the right container, again a division. Okay, and inside this I would simply say that if user is logged in, if user is logged in, then show him the logout button, then show him the logout button, else show him the login. Okay, else show him the login button. Okay, so that's what I've said. I've given them class name, later on we are going to style them. So these are the things. So we have to just first of all create this function also. So I would simply create this function. So this function would actually call the logout API. That's it. That's it. So this function would be called. Okay, what else? You can see we have to use the link tag from Next.js. Okay, so use link tag from Next.js. That's it. So that's what we are going to show to the user. Okay, and one more thing, we can actually show the user icon also. So for example, if the user has some profile page, I can show the profile page also later on. So this is what so we actually have to import React icons. We have to install React icons also. So what we can do is I'll just split this in the front end. I have to use React icons. And one more thing, that is React Toastify. So just do one thing in the front end, just install these two. Okay, React Toastify and React icons, because we are going to use icons as well as we are going to show some toast message on successful response. If I hit this, it would be installed into the front end. That's it. So it would be installed into the front end. Let's wait. Then after that, guys, you need to import that icon. So I'm simply going to say just import the icon from React icon /by. So I would just import that icon. That's it. My icon would be imported. And now, guys, you would see that the error is gone. And now let's see how does this look. So if I just reload, so you can see I'm getting cricket rank, and now I'm also getting the login button, as well as I'm also getting this also. Okay, so you can see I have everything. Okay, now I have to just style this navbar. So for styling the navbar, I'm just going to create navbar.css and just add some part of CSS which I really need. Okay, so this is a very basic CSS which we needed, and some extra CSS. By accident I've added some extra CSS, so don't worry about that, because I've been using the same design in some other designs also. But yeah, I have added some design to this navbar. So you can see if I also have to add this navbar CSS here. So I would just say that import navbar CSS. So just import navbar css, then that's good. Okay, so if I reload, so you can see that navbar css looks like this, and that's it. Okay, so one more thing, guys, we are actually using what we are having the image, right? So instead of this, guys, we are going to say that we don't need this, we don't have the input container. Okay, and what else? We don't need this, we don't need this. Okay, and what else? I would just say that since we have a h1 tag, okay, and we don't need this color. Okay, since we have the h1 tag, I would just say that we have some styling for the h1 tag. That's it. So you can see this is the h1 tag, and this is a login button. Okay, so I would also style the login button, the styles for the login button for all the buttons. I would just paste those inside the global css. Okay, so I'll go to app, and again global css, and I would again add some css. So you can see initially I've just said that this is the margin padding default font, and I've just given them some color. Then you can see I've simply defined the theme button one and link style as none. Okay, these styles I have defined. Okay, so you can see that I've defined it like this. So this is some style from my previous project. So if you want to add different style later on, you can, but right now this is it. Okay, so you can see it looks fine. So right now, so if someone clicks on it, I want to send the user to the login page. Okay, so I want to send the user to the login page. I would simply go here inside the app. I would create a folder named as auth. Okay, auth. It would take the user to the login page. Okay, so here itself I'm going to define my auth, that is sign in page. Similarly, guys, we're going to have the sign up page. Okay, so sign up page. Okay, so these are the two pages. So let's first of all talk about the sign up page. Okay, all right. So for the sign up page, here we have the sign up page. So I'm simply going to define a page named as page dot tsx. Okay, so page dot tsx, and here, guys, what you need to do is, first of all, again, we are going to have the use client at the top. Then I'm going to use state from React. And what else? We are going to use the link tag from React. Okay, sorry, from Next.js. Link tag from Next.js. Then we are going to use toast from Toastify. And what else? Everything is fine here. Okay, so one more thing, guys, when you want to use React Toastify, go to layouts, and here you have to add the toast container also. Okay, so you have to add toast container into layout, then only you can use React Toastify. Okay, so first of all, import these two styles. I would just share the source code later on in the GitHub repository. You can get that from here, or you can search for React Toastify on Google. You would find the CSS also inside the npm. Okay, so you have imported these. Now you just need to add this here. Okay, so toast container, that's it. So we have added these details. Now we are able to use the Toastify. Okay, now come back to sign up page. In the sign up page, I'm going to say that what kind of form data are we going to have. So since this is TypeScript based Next.js project, so you have to define types. So I've simply defined interface form data. That's how you define types in TypeScript. So inside this we have name, email, password, and confirm password. These four details we are going to take from the user in the sign up page, right? Then we are going to say that we are again going to export it like this. Okay, then we are going to create a hook which takes these four details, that is name, email, password. Okay, we're going to take these four details from the form. Okay, then if there are any errors, we would just show the errors. Okay, one more thing, that whenever there is a change in any field, okay, I hope you know what is form data. Whenever there is a change in any field, okay, suppose there is change in name field, whatever is the value of that field, suppose email, whatever is the email, I would just set that into my form data. Similarly, password, whatever is the password, I would just set that password into my form data. Okay, that's how this function works. Okay, I'll call this function again and again. Now this function is called, now it simply say when someone is trying to submit the data. Okay, when someone is trying to submit the data, okay, this function would be called. Okay, initially whenever someone submits the form data, we have to type e.prevent default to prevent the form to get emptied. Okay, to prevent the font from getting emptied. Okay, so first of all guys, since we have it like this, we are gonna just say that if everything is fine, if everything is fine, just call the fetch API. But first of all we have to show the errors. So I'll just say that we have a hook for errors. Okay, just create a hook for errors. Okay, it would contain all the errors, that is email not provided, password not provided, confirm password not provided. Okay, all the errors would be here. Now I would simply say, first of all, whenever someone clicks on submit, first of all remove all the previous errors, all the previous errors. Now recheck. Okay, so I'll just say that create a temporary object of errors. Just create a temporary object of errors. Okay, just create a temporary object of errors. Now inside this, first of all check if email is not available inside form data, throw this error. Okay, just add this error to validation errors. Now similarly we're going to do this for password, confirm password. Okay, we're going to do this for three details. Okay, I have simply said whatever fields are not available, I will just add that error to this validation errors. Okay, now I want to pass this validation errors to my error hook, to my error hook. Okay, that's it. So I would simply say that if validation error dot length is greater than 0, then I would pass it to my validation error. That means I have some errors into my page. Okay, if I have some errors, I would show that error into my page. But right now, if everything is fine, I would just call this. I would just call this API. If everything is fine, that means this return is not called, this is skipped. That means everything is fine. So I'm just calling my register API. Okay, that's what we created along with the along with the backend URL. I'm just passing the body, and in the headers, I'm just passing this. Okay, so that's how I'm calling this. Once the register is done, response is here. Just convert that response into JSON format. If response okay is true, that means response is successful, login is registration is successful. And also we have catch here. Okay, so I'm just saying that if response okay is true, okay, if response okay is true, then I would just send a toast message to the user, whatever is the message which I've received from the response. For example, I received the message user registered successfully. I'm just going to show the toast message at the top highlighted, and I'm just going to send the user to sign in page, that is a login page. After user is registered, I'm just going to send the user to login page. I'm going to empty the form data. That's it. Okay, so if the response is okay, but if the response is not okay, then I'm simply going to show that error into my page. Okay, I'm simply going to show that error into my page. Okay, that's it. Similarly, if I have an error into catch side, again I'm going to show that error into my page. That's it. Okay, so now we're going to define, we are going to return things. Okay, we are going to return things. So guys, here itself I'm just going to say when you want to return form data, that means we are going to add details inside this form data. Okay, so I'll just say that we have a division named as auth out. Okay, I'll just name this division as auth out. That's it. And we are going to take a few details from the user. Okay, so first of all we'll say that everything inside this division named as auth in. That's it. Now we're going to take a few details from the user. For example, in the left side, we are going to just show some image, or right now initially I would just keep it as empty. Okay, just keep it as empty. Now in the right side, I'm just going to show my form. Form can be containing name, email, password. Okay, so I'll just show it like this. Okay, so again, just close it. That's it. Okay, so now in the right side, we are going to call our form. Okay, so our form would be submitting, right? Whenever the form submits, I want to call the function named as handle submit. That is function handle submit would be called, right? Whatever we created for submitting the data. Okay, so inside this, we have to just pass the data. You can see I have called the function handle submit. Okay, that's the function. Okay, so now I'm simply saying just add the details. Okay, so whatever details I'm going to add will be added here. Okay, so I'm just saying that my name field would be here with the label, with the input, whatever is the change, it would be calling handle change along with the name and the value. Okay, and you can see if there is an error, just show the error regarded name here. Okay, I'm showing the name error here. Similarly, password error would be shown below password, email error would be shown below email. Okay, so now similar to this we have email error. Okay, similar to this we have the password error. Similar to this we have the password error. Okay, similar to this guys we have the confirm password error. Okay, so confirm password will also be shown below this. Okay, so you can see we have just created the form and it looks fine. And now at the end guys we need one button for register. Okay, so one button for register. Once I click on this, the button submit would be called. That means form would be submitted, handle submit function would be called. But if we have one more link, that is already have an account, that means user does not want to register, they already have an account. So I would simply call this link tag. I would simply call this link tag, which is pointing to my sign in page. That means it is pointing to my sign in page of Next.js. That's it. So now let's see how it actually looks. So first of all, if I go here, if I refresh, and now if I just type /auth/ sign up. Okay, so guys you can see I'm seeing a form like this. I'm able to see a form like this, and I just have to add a style to this, but you can see it looks fine. If I click on login, you can see it's taking me to the login page. Okay, that means it's taking me to the login page. Okay, so I'll just copy everything from here, and I would again actually type here page.tsx. Okay, so now inside this also I'm again going to add the same details, but for the login API. Okay, so again I'm going to say that here I'm going to have some details. I don't need the left side. Okay, so in the login what I'm saying is just check for what, just in the login what I'm saying is just check for email and password. Okay, and check for errors. If there are errors, show the errors, else just pass the data to my login API. Okay, pass the data to my login API. If login is successful, you can see I'm calling the check login function, which we are going to talk about later on. If login is failed, I'm just showing the error. If login is failed, I'm showing the error. Okay, so this is the handle submit. Now let's go above. You can see I'm just saying that my login data would be containing email and password only. That's what I'm going to send. Okay, and that's how I've created the interface, and we don't actually need this. And what else? Yes, that's it. Okay, that's it. So guys, you can see that these are all the things which we wanted here. Okay, that's it. So you can see that that's all the things which we needed here. Now if I go down, and what else, you can see I'm just taking the email and password and login button, and if someone clicks on register link, it would take you to the sign up page. Okay, so now let's see how it looks. So you can see again, you can see it's not a React component in page. Okay, so you can see first of all I'm receiving this error auth.css. So I have to create a file named as auth.css here. So auth.css. Okay, so we have this file here, and I'm simply going to show my auth.css data here. So I'm just going to add some CSS data. You can see I've added some CSS data, how my CSS would look. So I've just added some CSS data. Okay, so this is what I'm going to show. Now I would come back here into the sign up page. I want to add auth.css here also. So I would just say that import and inverted commas and dot slash auth.css. That's it. Okay, so now let's see. So if I reload, can see that okay, I actually added wrong name here. So dot slash, actually dot slash. Now you can see it's here. So I've added some CSS to this. You can see there's the login page. If I go to register, you can see there's the register page. Let's try to register. So suppose this is the name, this is the email, this is the password, and suppose if I provide wrong password, HJ12. Okay, so you can see password do not match. Okay, so if I provide the right password, click on register. So now if I click on register, you can see now I'm registered. Okay, if I go to MongoDB, I would see the new registered person. Okay, now if I try to log in with the same details, Viraj J014, if I provide the wrong password, HJ12, so login. So you can see invalid credential. If I provide HJ123, you can see logged in successfully. Okay, so it's working perfectly. You can see it's working perfectly. Now let's talk about this home page. Okay, so now let's talk about this home page. So inside this, you can see we have the logout button. Okay, so we have the logout button. You can see previously we were seeing the login button. Okay, we called the check login function. It actually checked the user is logged in or not. That's what we have done here. Okay, so you can see that's what we have done in sign in page also. You can see in sign in page also, once the user logs in, I was calling the check login function. Okay, so what does this do is, once the user logs in, I'm simply checking for the cookies. If cookies are available, just send the user to home page, else don't do anything. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so this is for checking the login. That's it. So that's how login also works. I'm just checking the login. Once the user logs in, I'm checking the login in that page also, and also in the navbar you can see I'm having this. Now let's talk about the logout button here. So let's come back. Now inside this I have navbar component. So inside the navbar I have to cover the handle logout function. Okay, so inside the navbar we have the handle logout function, and this function is really easy. It just has a few details, like I'm just calling the logout API. I'm just calling the logout API. Just call the logout API. Okay, so once you click on this, automatically I would just say that user has been logged out successfully. So I would just send the user to sign in page. That's it. That's what we are doing here. Okay, so suppose let's try this. So if I click on logout, you can see now I'm logged out successfully, and we are seeing the login button. Okay, so you can see now it's working fine. So if I provide correct details, AJ123 login. Okay, so you can see the correct details are here. Now we're going to just show a proper form data table which we get from rankings. Okay, so now I would simply go to my page.tsx, which is the home page. Now I would just remove this. Okay, or just remove this, and inside this I want to show my rankings. Okay, so I'll just create a function. So I'll just say const get cricket ranks. Okay, so rankings. Okay, rankings. So I'll just call this function to get the ranking. So I'll just say that const rank rank data. Okay, rank data, and I'm just setting it as an empty object. Okay, this is an object which I have created. Now the problem is we have to import React. Okay, that's it. So you can see this is the kind of data which I am assuming that I would receive. Okay, now you can see that inside this I want to fetch an API. Which API? So I'll just say that fetch, and it's actually inside auth. So I've added it inside the auth, and let's go to Postman. Here you can see this is the endpoint cricket ranking. So inside auth we have cricket ranking. So I'm just calling this. Okay, and it's again a get, so we don't need to provide anything. So it's a method of get. So again you can just say that it's a method of get, and headers, you can pass some headers, and then credential includes. Okay, so now once you receive the response, I would just first of all try to print the response. So I would just say dot then, and I would just convert it into JSON format. Then I would first of all print the response, whatever response I am receiving. Okay, so whatever response I am receiving, I'm just getting the response. Okay, so let's try to get this response. I'm printing the response. I have to call this function whenever this page loads. Okay, so I'll just say React use effect. Just call this whenever the page loads. Okay, so let's see how it works. So you can see we are in the home page. If I refresh, you can see we are in the home page. If I inspect, and we can go to console, and guys you can see that we are getting the cricket rankings and we are getting the data. Okay, so this is the complete data which we are getting here, and that's what we have set it to our rank data. Okay, that means we are inside the rank data. That means I can actually copy this object and paste it here. Okay, we are receiving this data in response. Okay, so I'll just say that this is the data which I'm receiving, right? This is the kind of data which I'm receiving. So I'll just comment this out. Now we have to just show it. Now we just have to show it. Okay, and for showing it we just simply say that inside this first of all I'm going to say that if rank data is here, rank data is here. So you can actually say if rank data is here, that means you can say that I want to show the data. Okay, so first of all I would just start with a division which would contain everything. I'll just say that rank. Okay, guys, just a minute. Okay, so here we have added a few details, but when the data is actually loading, So you actually have to wait for a few times. So you can actually add a loader also. So I would simply say when the data is loading, I can actually add a loader also. So I would just add a loader here. Okay, I would just add a loader here. It simply says when data is loading, I would just make this loader as false, as true, else I would just make it as false. Okay, and then I would just set the errors also. So I would just create a hook for errors also, or you don't need this hook. Okay, so you're just saying that if data is loading, then you can simply say that after everything, after this, you can see this is then. So similarly we are going to have the catch. Okay, so we're just going to say that if catch is here, then you can actually show the error. Okay, so you can actually create a hook for showing errors again. So I'm just going to show errors inside this hook. Okay, for example, I'm going to show error inside this. Okay, so I'm just going to say that when data is received, okay, when data is received, so you can just say that if error is here, I'm just going to send the error. I'm just going to show the error. Okay, so if response okay is false, you can see if response okay is true, then everything is fine. But if response okay is false, then that means we are receiving some error. Okay, we are receiving some error. Similarly, we have catch, and similarly we are going to use finally. Okay, similarly we are going to use finally here. So this is catch, this is finally. Okay, so now inside this guys also we are going to say that once we receive the error in catch, okay, so it's actually dot catch. Okay, I have to fix this. Okay, just a minute. So it's actually dot catch. Okay, you're just going to show an error, and finally you're just going to set loading as false. You can see initially when the page loads the data, set loading is true. Okay, so I'm just saying that till you are getting the data, first of all get the data and make the set loading as false. That's what I've done here. Okay, so initially I want to show the loading animation when loading is true. Okay, so you're just going to say that inside this itself guys, we are going to first of all, I'll just rewrite this. Okay, I'll just rewrite this. Okay, I'll just rewrite this here. So first of all, I'm going to say that if loading is true, then show the loading animation. Whatever animation you have, you can use that. You can use different animation. Okay, right now if I show you this, and if I go to localhost 3000, you can see initially it was showing me loading. Initially it was showing me loading, and then it was gone. Okay, so you can show some loading animation here instead. Then if you have any error, you can show the error also here. So this is a proper validation. You can see if error is also here, you can show the error also. Then I'm just going to say that if I have rank data, then if I have rank data, that means I'm going to show the rank data. Okay, if I receive from the backend. So we'll just say that we have a division named as rank page. Inside this we are going to show the rank data. Okay, so I'll just say from rank data we have ranks, right? So we are just going to first of all show the heading of tournament, whatever the tournament it is. So let's see how it looks. So you can see I'm getting the tournament. If I reload, you can see I'm getting the tournament. Okay, that means it's fine. Now after this guys, we are going to say that if I have this, I'm just going to say we are also going to have some divisions of ranks. Okay, for example, I right now I only have two countries, India and Australia. Okay, so I'm just going to say just get those countries ranks. Okay, I'm just saying that get the ranks, just get the ranks. Just close it like this. I'm just saying just get the ranks, and I'm going to extract country and a few details, wins and losses out of it. Okay, so I'll just say that whatever details I have passed inside this, I'll just pass inside this. Okay, that means what I'm saying is, suppose this is the data, right? I've just printed the data. You can see I'm getting the ranks inside this. Ranks is an array. I'm mapping the items inside the array. So you can see I'm inside the first object. So you can see it's having country, points, win, loses, total, flag. Okay, these are all the details. So that's what we're going to show here, right? That's what we're going to show here. So we'll just say that first of all, just show the things like ranking, country, points, win, losses, total matches. Okay, these details. Okay, so now after this, I would just say that we have an image also. So I would just say that image is imported from Next.js image. So you just need to import it from Next.js image. So you can see imported from Next.js image. So I'm just saying that show my flag inside this image, and the size and width is like this. Okay, so now let's see how it looks. So you can see that the problem is cannot read properties of undefined. Okay, so I'll just say that if rank data dot ranks, okay, then that's fine. Okay, So now you can see I'm getting the table data. Okay, I'm getting the data. So guys, now I'll just add some basic CSS here. I'll just add some basic CSS here. Then we would end this video. Okay, so this is a very basic page, and now I'm just going to say that I want to add the CSS, right? So I'll just say that, suppose for example, I want to give it for class main. Okay, so I'll just say that, suppose I'll just say that this is class main. Okay, so I'll just say that my class main would be inside this, for example. So I'll just say dot main, and I would just say that I want everything in center. Okay, I want everything in center. So you can see that right now we are actually using the page module CSS. Okay, so we have to actually use it inside the page CSS. Okay, actually, instead of page module CSS, instead of this, I'll just add it to global CSS. That's it. Okay, so I'll just add this to global CSS, and that's it. So you can see right now I have everything in center. Okay, now I'll just say that inside the main we actually have the h1 tag. So I'll just add some styles to the h1 tag. You can see I've added some styles to the h1 tag. Now I'd simply say that inside the main we have what we have rank data class. Okay, so I'll just say we have a rank data class. Okay, so now inside this I would just want to show the rank data. So I'll just say that we have some stylings here, and you can actually come back into the main page, and you can see we have rank page. This is actually rank page. Inside rank page you can see we have h1, then we have inner page. Okay, so inner components. Okay, so I'll just say go to global, and now I'll just name it as rank page, and I want everything in column, and now I simply say that I want everything in center. So you can see I want everything in center. That means display flex column, and I want everything is in center. Okay, now inside this we have country rank division. That means each division. Okay, so for this, guys, what you can do is you can simply say that first of all country rank would be like this. Okay, so come back, and you can see right now it looks like this. Okay, so guys, what I'll do is instead of this I would just say display as flex align item center. That means everything would be in a row. You can see it's in a row. Okay, and you would just say that width is 100%. So you can see I'm just saying take the whole width. Okay, actually you can give some margin also. So I would just say that have some margin. Okay, so I have some margin from each side. So I'll just say that the margin is suppose 10 pixels. Okay, so you can see it looks like this. But the problem here is you can't give the total 100 width. You can actually say that max content, that would be actually let's give it 90% width. That would be great. Okay, so 90% of the page, that's it. Okay, so you can see that's how I've given the width. So you can see it looks like this. And now one more thing that I would simply say, justify content space evenly. Okay, so you can see, guys, now I've simply given space evenly, and it looks like this. Okay, so this is the data which I have received from the backend, and it looks fine. I think it looks fine. Okay, then you can style the image, the p tag, and the h2 tag present inside. So you can see that all these stylings would be added to the country ranks. So you can add different styles to different things. Okay, so you can see I've added some styles to it, and you can make it as a table also, but I have added some temporary data. Okay, guys, so you can see now I'm able to receive the ranks from the backend. Okay, so these were all the details which I wanted to show. And instead of this, actually we can show it as a table also, like I have normally shown details like this, but instead of this you can actually show data as table. Okay, so this project now has been completed. We have covered the cricket ranking, global cricket ranking. Then after this we have covered the login, sign up, authentication, and also the check login logic here. Okay, so now let me just show you what we have done today. So if I log out, you can see the complete front end and back end is working. So you can see this is the login page. If I go to register, this is the register page. If I try to register, what actually happens is, let me just take you to MongoDB. Once you register, your user would be registered to MongoDB Atlas. Okay, so let me just show you the data here. So it would take time. Let me just, okay, now it's logged in. So you can see that we are inside cricket API, and now if I go to database, you can see I would receive the users. So if I go to browse collections, in the collections you can see we have the users, all the users which are registered. You can see we have registered users, and you can see that the password is in hashed format. Okay, this is very important. So now let's create a user. I would just say that suppose the username is VJ. Okay, and email is hj123 @gmail.com. Then you can see password hj123, password hj123. Okay, now let's see. So you can see user has been registered. If I refresh, you can see, you would see the registered user. So registered user would be here. You can see we have hj123 here. Okay, so now we are just going to log in with this. So hj123 and password is hj123. If I click on login, so you can see it's logged in and you can see I'm able to receive the data. Okay, so guys, that's how this application works. I hope you understood this application. Now I'm going to upload it to GitHub so that you can receive the source code. Okay, so for that I would simply go to my GitHub profile. Okay, so okay, I think I'm logged out with someone else. I'll just sign out, sign in. Okay, so now I'm going to just upload the source code so you can get the complete source code. What you have to do is you can simply visit my profile github.com/viraj014. Source code is available here, and you can also follow me here. You can check out my social handles. My YouTube is here, my Instagram profile is here, my LinkedIn profile is also here. If you want to contact me, you can contact me also. Okay, so in the repositories I would just create a new repo, and I would just name it as cricket app. Okay, so suppose this is front end. Okay, so this is the front end. That's it. So now I'm just going to create this and I'm going to upload the front end. Similarly, I'm going to upload the back end. Okay, so let's come here and I'm going to close it. The front end would be closed. I would just paste everything and now I would again type git add dot git commit m second. Okay, then git push. Okay, so I pushed the complete source code to front end, so you can simply refresh, and this is the front end source code, guys. Similarly, I'm going to upload the backend source code also. So again, I'm going to create a new repository, and here I would just type movie. Sorry, here I would simply type cricket app, cricket app backend. Okay, so cricket app backend, create repository. Oh, it's done, and now I simply have to just paste it, just copy it and just paste the repo. Okay, and just paste it here. So I would simply go to my backend now. So this is my backend. I would just close the backend. I would simply paste it and git add dot. That's it. So guys, now I have uploaded the complete source code and you would get the complete source code. It's available on my GitHub profile. What you have to do is you can simply, okay, let me just first wait. It would take some time. So it would take, it would be automatically uploaded. What you have to do is you can simply visit my GitHub profile, github.com/viraj014. Okay, so from here you can follow me, you can check out my profile. In the repositories, you would find cricket app underscore backend, cricket app underscore front end. So they are available here. I've uploaded the complete source code. You can check out the complete source code from here. Again, I would share this in the live chat also, and later on I'll add this to the comment section so you can get the repository. If you don't find the repositories here, you can simply search the repository name here directly. Okay, so I hope you understood this video. Just before ending this video, I wanted to mention one more thing. Just check out the description. You find a link by Geeks for Geeks. Okay, that's for a course that is full stack development. So if you want to learn full stack development, you can check out this course, and if it covers everything starting from normal basics, github, html, css till advanced level of one stack. So you can just purchase this course if you want, and it would be really beneficial for you all if you want to learn one stack. Okay, and similarly you have one more link in description. So it's about this boundary weaker bootcamp, so you can learn more about this. You can just register and then you can read more details inside this. Just register for this and you have to give contest, and winners would get good prices and gift vouchers and discounts onto our courses. Okay, so guys, that's it for today. I hope you understood this fun project, and this was a very basic project. I will see you in the next one. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.